If you're an IMG applying to internal medicine residency, what specific programs should you be targeting? Well, that's the focus of today's video, where we're specifically focusing in on the state of Michigan. I'm Dr. Rajani Katta, and I'm the author of The Successful Match, Rules for Success in the Residency Match. I'm also a part of MD2B Connect, where we've worked with many IMG applicants over the years. One of the things I've noticed is that some of our IMG applicants overlook the state of Michigan. Perhaps they think about Detroit, and perhaps they think about misconceptions about Detroit or the state of Michigan. But Michigan is a pretty amazing state, and it's a very vibrant state, and it is diverse depending on what city you're in. Now, the other reason to consider Michigan is that it has 34 internal medicine residency programs. And in this video, we're going to highlight what we consider be the top IMG-friendly internal medicine programs in the state of Michigan. As you listen to the video, notice that we are not just going with a single metric in coming to this conclusion. We're really going deep and picking up some of the nuances of what programs are seeking. So some programs are seeking minimum step scores. Some of them are seeking specific amounts of U.S. clinical experience. These are all factors that you need to take into account as you're applying to residency programs, because some residency programs, depending on your own characteristics, may not consider you seriously as an applicant in their program. So it really pays to take the time to look through these programs one by one. So with that, here's our breakdown on some of the top IMG-friendly internal medicine residency programs in the state of Michigan. As we review the top 20 most IMG-friendly internal medicine programs in Michigan, I want to start with Beaumont Health in Dearborn, Michigan, where 100% of their current residents are IMGs. They do have Step 1 and Step 2 cutoff scores of 230, and they would like to see passage on the first attempt. I'll also highlight that they do not offer any visas, and they prefer medical school graduation within the past 5 years. So this is a program that may be a good choice for some applicants, not all, but something to consider. And another one is McLaren Healthcare Flint MSU program, where again, 100% of their residents are IMGs. They do not have cutoff scores, so they just require a passing score. They also prefer med school graduation within the past 5 years. I'll also highlight that they do not offer any visas. Another program is the McLaren Healthcare Oakland MSU program in Pontiac, Michigan, where again, 100% of their residents are IMGs, and they also do not offer any visas. They also have cutoff scores of 228 Step 1 and 240 Step 2, along with med school graduation within the past 5 years. So a program that might be applicable to only certain applicants, but 100% are IMGs, so one to consider. St. Joseph Mercy Oakland program is also in Pontiac, Michigan, where almost all of their residents are IMGs at 99%. They do not have Step 1 and Step 2 cutoff scores. They just prefer passage on the first attempt. They do offer a J1 visa, and importantly for some applicants, they do not have a medical school graduation year cutoff. Wayne State University College of Medicine program. This one's in Rochester, Michigan, where almost all of their residents are IMGs at 97%. I will point out their cutoff scores of 220 for Step 1 and Step 2. We'll also point out that they require U.S. clinical experience. They prefer med school graduation within the past 7 years, and they offer a J1 visa. The Hurley Medical Center Michigan State University program is in Flint, Michigan. Again, almost all of their residents are IMGs at 92%. They do have cutoff scores of 220 for both Step 1 and Step 2, and they prefer U.S. clinical experience as well as graduation within the past 5 years. They do offer a J1 visa. Another program is St. Mary Mercy Hospital in Livonia, Michigan. Almost all are IMGs at 92%. They do not have cutoff scores. They just prefer passage on the first attempt. They also prefer that you have U.S. clinical experience specifically within the past 3 years and med school graduation within the past 3 years. They offer a J1 visa. Central Michigan University College of Medicine program. This is in Saginaw, which is beautiful. Almost all are IMGs at 90%. Now, they do not have cutoff scores. They just prefer passage on the first attempt, and they prefer graduation within the past 3 years. They offer a J1 visa. The Detroit Wayne County Health Authority GME program is in Detroit, Michigan, and half of their residents are IMGs, so 50%. They do not have step 1 or step 2 cutoff scores, and they do not have any med school graduation year cutoff, although they do specify that they prefer U.S. clinical experience within the past 2 years. They do not offer any visas. Ascension Providence program is in Southfield, Michigan. 86% are IMGs, and they have no step 1 or step 2 cutoff scores. And although they prefer U.S. clinical experience, they do not state any preference for med school graduation year. And they offer a J1 visa. Another program is the Henry Ford Allegiance Health Program in Jackson, where 75% are IMGs. There are no USMLE Step 1 or Step 2 cutoff scores. They do not have a preference for medical school graduation year, and they offer a J1 visa. So this is a program that might be applicable for a wider variety of applicants. Detroit Medical Center Corporation in Commerce Township, 84% are IMGs. They do not have cutoff scores, although they prefer passage on the first attempt, and they prefer med school graduation within the past 2 years. They offer a J1 visa. Another program to consider is Detroit Medical Center, Wayne State University Sinai Grace Hospital program, and that's in Detroit, where a majority are IMGs. That's 80%. They do not have any cutoff scores. They just prefer passage on the first attempt, and they prefer med school graduation within the past 5 years. They offer a J1 visa. St. Joseph Mercy Ann Arbor program is in Ypsilanti, where 62% of their residents are IMGs. They do have cutoff scores of 220 and 230, and they prefer that you pass those exams on your first attempt. They also prefer that you have U.S. clinical experience and that you've graduated within the past 3 years. They offer a J1 visa. Ascension St. John Hospital program is in Grosse Pointe Woods, where a majority at 78% are IMGs. They don't have any step 1 or step 2 cutoff scores, and they don't have a cutoff for medical school year of graduation. And they offer a J1 and an H1B visa. So this is a program that might be applicable to a number of different applicants. Beaumont Health Royal Oak program is in Royal Oak, Michigan. 40% are IMGs, and they do not have a cutoff for step 1 or step 2 or medical school year graduation, and they offer both a J1 and an H1B visa. They do prefer U.S. clinical experience, but that's something that can be obtained. So this is a program that does not exclude a lot of applicants, so it's one to consider. St. Joseph Mercy Hospital program in Ann Arbor is 60% IMGs. They do have cutoff scores of 220 and 230. They prefer that you have U.S. clinical experience and have graduated within the past 3 years. They also offer a J1 visa. Mercy Health Grand Rapids program is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I vacationed last summer, and that is a beautiful city. The majority of residents are IMGs at 62%. They do prefer passage on the first attempt, as well as a step 1 and a step 2 score of at least 210. They do prefer med school graduation within the past 2 years. They also offer a J1 visa. The Western Michigan University Homer Stryker MD School of Medicine program is in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Close to half are IMGs at 46%, and they do have pretty strong cutoff scores. They prefer at least a 250 on step 1 and step 2. They also prefer that you have U.S. clinical experience and that you've graduated within the past 2 years. They offer a J1 visa. Ascension Genesys Hospital program is in Grand Blanc. And although they only have 20% IMGs, it's a program to consider. They do not have any cutoff scores for step 1 or step 2 or requirements for U.S. clinical experience, but they do prefer graduation within the past 2 years. They do not offer any visas. And that wraps up our review of some of the top IMG friendly internal medicine programs in Michigan. And I'm Dr. Rajani Katta, and with my partner, Dr. Samir Desai, from all of us here at MD2B and MD2B Connect, we wish you the best of luck.